So it looks like you might not even be able to edit your 8K and 4K footage from the EOS R5. Armando Ferreira decides to show people that you can use the R5 in a production environment. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about the gyroscope feature on the Sony A7S III potentially, and also something I noticed from when I saw the A7S III that hasn't been mentioned yet, which is a little bit surprising. Stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's that one camera guy back at again with another news/rumor video. Appreciate you guys joining me every single time. Great, appreciate you guys, and also the comments down are awesome. People are having discussions. So let's go ahead and get started today. So here's the thing. Max Yuryev just dropped a video showing him editing 8K and 4K footage from the EOS R5. Let's go ahead and jump to that right now. Now, I'm not going to show the whole video because obviously I'll link it down below, and I'm pretty sure you already saw it, but I just wanted to point out that he's using some pretty high-end... So he's using some pretty high-end equipment to go ahead and test out the footage from the EOS R5, but the basic gist of this is that even with a high-end computer, even with a lot of VRAM in there, he's not able to play back the footage at full resolution, and it even has tendencies to stutter. I think there was a new update from Adobe that was released not too long ago to get support for EOS R5, but we're still seeing some issues being able to play it back. And so he tests that footage, and he's having issues. I'm not going to go through it in detail, but just the idea that he was struggling with it, even with DaVinci Resolve was having issues with it. The Mac Pro seemed to fare a little bit better, but it still had issues for the most part. So what does this really mean for everything? You know, what does this mean for those of you that are going to use the EOS R5? So what I did is I found the 8K raw footage. I couldn't find the 4K 120, unfortunately. I brought it into Premiere Pro, and I did two things here. This one here, this timeline, and already there, this is the original 8K footage on an 8K timeline, and I think I'm not gonna try to play it because it's gonna make my computer act up all weird. But I'll just hit play and see and show you what happens. All right, there it is. So now we're at 100%, and OBS is struggling. Obviously, the OBS is getting hit from the GPU down here.
Máy gạt lá.
And the footage won't play back.
Nhìn máy gạt lá quay vào đây.
Without drop
Rồi.
frame. All right. Okay, that was weird. So now I paused it. So check it out. This second timeline I have here, this is I just dropped the crappy adjustment layer on there. But the point being, this is a proxy, ProRes RAW, I believe, high proxy on there. And I mean, it looks fine just editing it here. And now it plays back just okay.
Okay.
No big deal. Just created a proxy and you can edit the 8K footage and you can still export it at 8K. So I want to stress that I do have a decent computer at 9900K with a 2080 Ti, so your results may vary, but I've been doing proxies a long time ago because of Premiere, and when I would work with so many H.264 compressed footage and like in the multicam, I would always do proxies. Yes, I waited for the proxies to happen, but it made the editing experience so much easier. And so it looks like that's going to be the case with this stuff for a while until things just kind of catch up with the 8K footage. So I wouldn't say it's impossible to work with it. It seems it is possible. And let me know down below what your experience has been for those of you working with like the 1DX Mark III RAW or even C200 RAW files. You know, what's it been like for you in that case? All right, the next thing I want to talk about is actually Armando Ferreira. He's taking the EOS R5 and he's using it in a production environment. There's a lot of folks right now that are worried about the R5 and whether or not it's going to work or not. And even the fan, if you haven't checked out my video on the Tilta-fan, you can check it out somewhere up here. I'll link it over there. But he went and tested it in a production environment. He has more footage to show later. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of it right now. I'm not going to play the whole video, folks, but what he did was he recreated some scenes. And I downloaded the clip because, you know, I just wanted to be able to see it.
You snotty little bastard.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
If Lieutenant Kendrick ordered his men...
Now, again, I'm not going to play everything here. You probably already watched the video if you haven't done so already, but he's doing some incredible stuff with it. Again, putting the camera through and seeing how well it handles, right? That's exactly what people want to see. Something I did find very interesting, though, towards the end of the video, and I think he'll probably hopefully explain it in the future, is that someone here was actually using this blower to actually, I think, cool the setup. So this is interesting. So we'll see what this ends up meaning. I don't know if anyone else caught this in his video, but that might not be a good thing. Though we will see what that means. But I like that Armando's doing that work for us, and he's trying to show what the possibilities are with that 8K RAW or even the 4K if he's using a mix of that. So yeah, no, let me know your thoughts about that. All right, so the next thing on my list has to do with stabilizing the A7S III. Now, there's some new tidbits coming up about the gyroscope feature from the FX9 making it onto the A7 III. I was a little bit too harsh about the idea of doing something like that in post, but it looks like it could be a promising feature if it does happen. Let's take a look. All right, so over on Sony Alpha Rumors, there were some more tidbit sources coming up saying that the gyroscope data will be available for post-stabilization like the FX9. Now, me being an idiot, I didn't know too much about that, so I went ahead and looked up some videos. I found this video by a creator, Alexandru Don, and he went ahead and tested out the FX9 stabilization feature. Now, there are other videos out there that I did check out as well, but he just seemed to be pretty excited about it. So let's take a look at parts of the clips of his video. All right, so what he does in the video is he does some handheld tests with the FX9. Granted, it is a much more stable system. He ends up using a slightly wider lens. I think he's using the 20mm Sigma here. And so we're seeing it. So we're seeing this unstabilized and then stabilized. He's trying to give you a side-by-side comparison. So he does a running shot here, unstabilized, and then with it stabilized using the gyroscope feature there. Again, I have this link down below so you can go ahead and check it out. But it's a little bit, it's pretty impressive what the software can do. And it seems to work pretty quickly. It just saves the metadata inside the FX9, and then you just go ahead and just run the software, and you can get some better features. I like that idea if it's something that the A7S III can do. I've been, there's times when, you'll go handheld on something and the footage just doesn't look as good as if it wasn't on a gimbal. But from his experience, he was noticing it seemed almost gimbal-like in some cases. So it's not perfect. You can notice that there's some weird blurring there depending on if it's a really fast scene. But if it may be able to get you out of a pinch, which is what the benefit is. So very interesting. I don't think it could be something worthy of note if Sony can do that for the A7S III. All right, the last thing I want to go over is something I saw on the A7S III that hasn't been mentioned yet. So let's go ahead and dive into that. All right, so on Sony Alpha Rumors, again, there hasn't been anything new with regards to the actual image of the camera. The thing is, I've seen the actual memory card door of the A7S III. I'm sure others have seen it as well too. But let me go ahead and explain to you what the difference is, okay? So I went ahead and pulled up, this is the Sony A9 Mark II. So you notice that on the A9 Mark II, that on the side here where the door is at, it's kind of like a push system. And then on the previous generation, you had this little lever right here, just the A7R3, this little nub there. You're going to go ahead and push that down, and that's going to go ahead and unlock the thing. Now, without showing you the actual image, on the A7S III, it's going to look similar to this. It looks a little bit thicker, looks a little bit bigger. And what you're going to see on the A7S III, there's like this section right here that you push down, okay? So it's no longer this system where you push and pull. There's this like little section right here that you're going to go ahead and just move down, and it should probably open the door. Now, I didn't see it get opened, but it looks as if there's something there. So the implications of that kind of lead back into the idea of the potential for the CF Express Type A cards, or unless they're doing XQD, who knows? But it is very, very interesting that they would change the design of the memory card door as well. So things are changing already with the camera. So either they just made it thicker or bigger, just to compensate for the heat potentially, but we'll see about that. Hey, one last tidbit I want to share with you before I kind of wrap up the video is that I think we are going to see 12-bit RAW. Not the 16-bit RAW, but 12-bit RAW, similar to what Atomos has been offering on other cameras. So 12-bit RAW is not like brand new or anything. They're offering that with, I think, like GFX, the Fujifilm GFX, and some other cameras can output to that. So I think we're gonna see 12-bit RAW on the A7S III, and that's just my prediction there. So that's gonna do it for me in this video, folks. Let me know down below what you think of the information you've just seen, and that's gonna do it for me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my other content. Catch you later. Peace.